Here's something that'll ruin your day. Everything you think you know about discipline is probably wrong. The 21-day habit myth, fake willpower as a limited resource, debunked by 24 laboratories testing over 2,000 people. That motivational poster telling you to just push through, actively making you worse at building habits. The discipline industry sold you a lie, and neuroscience just exposed the receipts. Turns out your brain doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about dopamine stability and associative learning. And the people you think have iron willpower, they're not resisting more temptation than you. They're experiencing less of it in the first place. So buckle up, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what actually works, backed by brain imaging studies, replication research, and the uncomfortable truth that discipline isn't built through suffering. It's engineered through systems. I spent weeks diving into the latest neuroscience from 2023 to 2025, reading through hundreds of studies, meta-analyses involving hundreds of thousands of participants, and brain imaging research that's completely rewriting how we understand behavior change. And here's what I found. The entire motivation and willpower approach to discipline is collapsing under scientific scrutiny. Your current discipline system fails for a simple reason. It's based on psychological research that couldn't survive replication. Meanwhile, the real science reveals something way more forgiving. Habits take 66 to 254 days to form, not 21 missing. Single days has zero impact on your progress, and high self-control people aren't grinding harder than you. They've just designed environments where temptation barely shows up. This video is going to show you the exact frameworks that actually work, the neuroscience of how your brain automates behaviors, why willpower thinking is fundamentally flawed, and the practical systems used by people who've built discipline that lasts years, not weeks. Section 1. Why motivation dies first. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Motivation is essentially worthless for building lasting discipline. Research from Wendy Wood at USC demonstrates that approximately 43% of your daily actions happen automatically in the same context, operating on autopilot rather than motivation. Nearly half of what you do every day isn't because you decided to do it. It's because your environment triggered an automatic response. BJ Fogg spent over 20 years at Stanford studying behavior change, and his findings are brutally clear. Motivation fluctuates wildly based on sleep, stress, and emotional state. His behavior model shows that when ability is high, when behaviors are extremely easy, motivation required drops to near zero. Instead of trying to increase motivation, you need to decrease the ability threshold. A June 2012 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people with high self-control reported experiencing less temptation, not more resistance. They're not white-knuckling their way through cravings. They've structured their lives to encounter fewer temptations in the first place. It's like comparing someone who keeps cookies in their house versus someone who simply doesn't buy cookies. Who maintains their diet more easily? And here's the kicker about willpower. For 2 decades, ego depletion theory claimed willpower works like a muscle that gets depleted with use. Then in 2016, a massive registered replication attempt involving 24 laboratories and 2,141 participants found absolutely no evidence that ego depletion exists. The effect size was essentially zero. Michael Inzlicht, who won awards for his ego depletion research, publicly confessed that receiving acclaim for this work felt like receiving a Nobel Prize for developing the frontal lobotomy. What remains is ordinary fatigue. Only extended periods of effortful work lasting 4 to 6 hours produce genuine fatigue effects. So if motivation is unreliable and willpower depletion is fake, what actually works? Systems, automation, and environmental design. Section 2. How your brain actually automates discipline. Anne Gray Beal's groundbreaking work at MIT discovered previously unknown pathways in the basal ganglia that regulate habit formation and explain why different people form habits at vastly different rates. But here's the wild part. Sten Grillner's April 2025 research demonstrated that once motor behaviors are learned, the dorsolateral striatum becomes completely independent of cortical input. After you've practiced something enough, your motor cortex can be completely shut off, and the behavior continues flawlessly. Your brain has 2 competing systems: the stimulus response system that encourages efficient repetition of well-practiced actions, and the goal-directed system that handles flexibility and planning. When you're first learning something, say going to the gym, your prefrontal cortex is fully engaged, but through repetition, your brain transfers control to the dorsolateral striatum, and the behavior becomes genuinely automatic. This is why Jerry Seinfeld doesn't decide whether to write each day. He just sees the calendar, marks the X, and writes. The environmental cue triggers an automatic response that bypassed conscious decision-making entirely. Now, dopamine's role is way more sophisticated than the reward chemical story. Wolfram Schultz's 2024 research demonstrates that dopamine neurons encode reward prediction errors rather than rewards themselves. Your brain isn't responding to rewards, it's responding to surprise. This is why that first workout feels amazing, but by workout 30, you barely notice it. Research published in Nature in January 2025 identified a second type, action prediction errors. These movement-related dopamine signals reinforce repeated associations independent of reward. You have 2 parallel systems working working together to cement habits even after the novelty wears off. The practical implication: you don't need behaviors to stay exciting. You just need them to happen consistently in the same context. Section 3. The 3 laws of self-discipline. Law 1. Identity beats outcomes. Most people set outcome goals. I want to lose 20 pounds. The problem? These goals focus on results, not identity. Research shows that I am the type of person who never misses workouts creates different behavioral patterns than weight loss goals. Each action becomes a vote for the type of person you wish to become. When your actions contradict your identity, you experience cognitive dissonance. Your brain will adjust either your behavior or your identity to resolve the tension. Law 2. Environment beats willpower. Remember that finding about high self-control people experiencing less temptation? That's environmental design. Sean Acor's work demonstrates that even a 20-second reduction in effort can create new behavior patterns. The most effective approach: reduce friction for desired behaviors and increase friction for undesired ones. Place workout clothes by your bed, prep gym bags the night before. Meanwhile, keep junk food out of the house entirely. Log out of websites after each use. Law 3. Systems beat goals. Goals tell you where you want to go. Systems get you there. Jerry Seinfeld's Don't Break the Chain isn't about becoming a great comedian. It's about writing jokes daily. Stephen King writes 2,000 words every single day, including his birthday. That's 730,000 words per year minimum. His quote: "Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work." Section 4. The Real-World Action Plan Protocol. 1. Implementation intentions. Peter Gollwitzer's meta-analysis, examining 94 studies, found an effect size of 0.65 for implementation intentions. The formula: if when situation X occurs, then I will do behavior Y. A British Journal of Health Psychology study found that participants who wrote down when and where they would exercise achieved a 91% success rate versus 35% for control groups. Concrete example: if it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m., I will put on running shoes. Your brain now automates the behavior when the situation arises. Protocol 2. Tiny habits make behaviors so easy they require minimal motivation. Scale habits down to tiny versions like flossing one tooth or doing 2 push-ups. Anchor new habits to existing behaviors and celebrate immediately after to wire it in through positive emotion. Protocol 3. Temptation bundling. Katie Milkman at Wharton gave 226 participants iPods with audiobooks they could only access at the gym. The treatment group visited the gym 51% more frequently. Protocol 4. The 2-minute rule. James Clear's version scales any habit down to a 2-minute version. Read 30 books per year becomes read 1 page. Run 3 miles becomes tie running shoes. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Starting is the hardest part. Protocol 5. Never miss twice. Here's the most forgiving finding: missing a single opportunity had no impact on habit formation trajectory. Elite performers make mistakes constantly. They just don't repeat them. If you're 3 weeks into a new habit and it still feels hard, that's completely normal. Most habits take 2 to 4 months to automate. Habits take months, not weeks. Missing single days changes nothing. What actually works? Make behaviors stupidly easy. Create if-then plans that automate decisions. Bundle temptations with valuable behaviors. Manipulate your environment to make good choices default, and track everything. Discipline isn't built through suffering. It's remembered through repetition in stable contexts until your dorsolateral striatum takes over and behaviors happen automatically. The people you think have superhuman willpower don't. They have systems. Jerry Seinfeld doesn't debate writing. David Goggins doesn't summon motivation at 3 a.m. The alarm goes off and he gets up. Period. These aren't personality traits. They're engineering solutions. Start building systems where desired behaviors happen automatically regardless of how you feel. That's not weakness. It's wisdom backed by neuroscience. Your brain doesn't care about your dreams, but it will automate any behavior you repeat consistently in the same context. Use that.